From The Portrait of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And yet, I believe that if one man were to live out his life fully and completely, were to give form to every feeling, expression to every thought, reality to every dream, I believe that the world would gain a fresh impulse of joy, that we forget all the maladies of medievalism and return to the Hellenic ideal, to something finer, richer than the Hellenic ideal, if that be me. But the bravest man amongst us is afraid of himself. The mutilation of the savage has its tragic survival in the self-denial that mars our lives. We are punished for our refusals. Every impulse that we strive to strangle broods in the mind and poisons us. The body sins once, and as done with its sin, for action is a mode of purification. Nothing remains then but the recollection of a pleasure, or the luxury of a regret. The only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it. Resist it, and your soul grows sick with longing for the things it has forbidden to itself, with desire for what its monstrous laws have made monstrous and unlawful. It has been said that the great events of the world take place in the brain. It is in the brain, and in the brain only, that the great sins of the world take place. Also, you, Mr. Gray, you yourself, with your rose-red youth and your rose-white boyhood, you have had the passions that have made you afraid, thoughts that have filled you with terror, daydreams and sleeping dreams, whose mere memory might stain your cheek with shame. My dear Arkham Olivier, it's been a few months. You have been, with the help of Anika, the primogen of your clan, working on getting control of a dark part of yourself that has, on occasion, surfaced, causing you to black out and not realize what you're doing and taking your body out on a rampage or some other distressful event. With Anika's help, and to a certain degree with Father Dubois' help, to whatever degree you have agreed to let him help you, you've managed to achieve a certain degree of control over, not control per se, but you've managed to remain aware when this other side of you, this beastly side of you, takes over. Much like a passenger in a self-driving car, you watch in horror and perhaps a little glee as your body does terrible, terrible things. Would you tell us a little bit, Arkham, about how you've been feeling about this new development of your situation?
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's the only way that I could think about it. That it's unnerving at first to be a passenger in your own mind, but then after a while, it's like watching a movie. It gets to a point to where you can map the ending. There was a couple times to where I tried to maybe manipulate the outcome, but I think that's where the most distressing parts come in, and when I'm reminded that I am a passenger in this moment. And then it turns into intrigue about just how deep and animalistic this could go. Now it's a bit of enjoyment anytime that it happens. Something to recant when I come back to the forefront of my own mind. It's nice to have that sense of control, even if I'm not the one doing it. We'll see how it goes.
For the most part, Anika's help has been through discussions, through attempting to change your outlook on how the beast operates. You perhaps for a long time thought, like many kindred, that the beast is some sort of parasite inside of you that you had to fight constantly to prevent it from taking control of you. She has started changing your way of thinking about that, The beast she suggests is perhaps an ally in waiting, or perhaps a deeply buried part of yourself, deep repression of a more lustful animal side of you, primal side of you. And in changing the way you think about it and about it in a less antagonistic way, you've managed to, much like one approaches a feral animal or a dog, by not showing any fear, I've managed to approach it a little bit. Tonight, Naika showed up at your house and said there was an important step that you needed to take in order to progress to the next level. The recent progress in your situation, your way of being, are encouraging, but there is an important step to take, and unfortunately it's not one that she herself can help you with, but she has a friend, someone who helped her in the past deal with such things, someone who put her on the track of a more amicable relationship with the darker part of her. Said that if you want to take that next step, it will require a lot of faith. You know, when they make you do that test where you have to close your eyes and fall backwards and hope that your friends catch you. Well, it's sort of like that, except that if your friends don't catch you, you fall into the fire and perish. So before we go out and meet my friend Alexander and take the next step, I need to know that you're committed to it, that you're devoted to the idea of making friends with that part of you that scares you and that for now has a lot of control over you.
Is meeting your friend going to make this easier for me to control, or am I going to be adding something on top of what I already am having trouble managing?
Meeting my friend and undergoing the little exercise will truly open up a new way of looking at this thing inside of you, and will firmly put you on the track to becoming its equal.
I don't know if I want to become its equal. I want to be stronger than it.
You can't. You can't be stronger than it. How can you be stronger than yourself? It's an indelible part of you. It is half of you. Right now, it's a half that, for some periods of time, has control over you, but you can make it so that both of you are always operating equally together in sync, rather than one of you controlling while the other one sits back.
That's the case, isn't it? Right? If I can't control it, but it can control me, then what? Isn't that the whole point of these exercises? Not for me just to maintain, but for me to overcome, to where I can use this.
Think of it this way. Right now, your being is split into two. There are two distinct people. One has no real say or even really knows what the other one's doing. And right now, your desires and your goals and your objectives and your ways of being are anathema to one another. What we want to do is bring these two separate beings into one, so that you are working together. You are using its strength, and it is using your mind at the same time, and your goals become the same. It is about not making one of you a liability to the other.
Fine. But something.
Come,
It's better than
my
what we've been
friend.
doing.
Speak with him. I'm sure you'll have a good point or two to make.
It's fine. Am I driving?
Do you trust me, Arkham?
No.
Well, at least we're being honest.
At this point, I think we should.
Whatever your pleasure is. Do you wish to drive, or shall I?
Do you know where you're going? You can drive.
And drive she does. You head east into the east end of Montreal, a land of refineries, a land of gravel pits, a land of industry. The sky seems darker here. The skeletons rusting of ancient refineries mark the horizon, these dead towers encircling you. And as you find your way through the potholed and forgotten streets, you eventually arrive at what looks like one of the aforementioned gravel pits. And you drive down into it, and you find that the darkness here is a different quality than the darkness out there. It seems inviting. At the bottom of the pit, you see another vehicle, and you see a man standing next to it. Alexander, would you tell us a little bit what Arkham sees as Anika's car pulls up to you in the bottom of this gravel pit?
You see him standing next to an SUV. A well-used shovel leans against the SUV. He has his arms crossed. He is an older man with silver hair, dark clothes, rugged clothes, very practical, dark jeans, and a red shirt underneath. He wears a silver pendant around his neck of a symbol you probably don't recognize. He has an intense look on his face, but the most palpable thing you notice is that he doesn't breathe. He doesn't even blink in the habitual way most kindred do. He is still in a way that would disturb animals.
And as the car pulls up, and Anika, as sultry and as beautiful and as enchanting as ever, slips out, Arkham slips out from the other side. What would Alexander see, Arkham, as you roll yourself out of the car?
Before I do get out of the car, Bleak, did I have a moment to contact Constance? Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
I think it was just a small text message of keep a close eye on my location, just in case.
You okay, boss? Anything I should be worried about?
Probably, but once I know, you'll know.
I'm ready for anything.
Thank you. And as he finishes that conversation, when he gets out the car, Alexander, you, compared to what Arkham's previous attire and presence would be, it's very relaxed. Normally he would probably show up in some type of highliner designer suit, but in this particular case it's just all black slacks, black shoes, a black silk shirt, and he looks a little disheveled, almost as if he hasn't slept, with a gruff face of frustration, and he's very hesitant to approach you. Not as if that he's scared, it's just that he doesn't know what's going on and he doesn't like that.
And as the lot of you stand staring at each other, we travel towards the old port of Montreal, near the clock tower, one of Montreal's better known tourist attractions, locations, whatever you wish to call it. Fiona, at night the Montreal clock tower rises like a sentinel from the edge of the old port, its wide facade glowing faintly under the moonlight. The air carries the scent of the river, the hush of the city softened by footsteps on cobblestones and the distant murmur of passing voices. Then the light changes. Without warning, the clock tower transforms. From its stony surface, shadows bloom, soft at first, then clear, deliberate. A woman's silhouette appears, suspended as if under water, her dress flowing with a current you cannot see. Music rises from the darkness, the haunting melody of Leonard Cohen's Suzanne, filling the space between the tower and the silent crowd gathered below. Faces turn upward, conversations fade. The figure begins to drift, slowly rising up the tower's flank, then dissolves into mist as another scene unfolds, a flickering candle in a stone window. A man in period dress appears beside it, writing. The projected ink strokes loop and curl, narrating stories from centuries past. Fur traders, settlers, revolutionaries. A steam train bellows across the tower, windows glowing, fading into the industrial age. The projections stretch around the tower's base, crawling along nearby walls and trees. An entire city seems to breathe across the surfaces. Workers in factories, children laughing by a fountain, dancers spinning in sepia light. A narrator whispers through nearby hidden speakers, Montréal autrefois, city of voices, of struggle, of love. You feel as if you're walking through someone's memory. The clock above watches silently, hands frozen in real time while history moves around it. Smoke, fire, snow, and stars are conjured in light, layered like dreams over stone. You see not just the events, but lives, brief, flickering, luminous. And then the final tableau fades. Darkness settles again. But the tower feels different now, less like a monument, more like a storyteller. It stands not just to mark time, but to hold it. The stone is still white, still quiet, but it no longer feels inert. It remembers. More than one way for a clock to keep time, it seems, says Irene, your sire, as she sidles up to you. As she does, in the moments before she speaks, what is going through Fiona's mind as she watches history unfold as if time was inconsequential on the facade of the clock tower?
I think that's just the word, inconsequential. I think Fiona's rolling it over and over in her head about all the time that was wasted in bars and on factory floors and in the streets of New York, wandering around by the canal here in Montreal, thinking about all the wasted time, thinking about how inconsequential it is to have this immortal life. But now things are different. There's a certain calm and also perhaps a pep in her step regarding this new outlook on life. She's found Sadie, and also Irene has shown her face. There's a lot to catch up on, and now we have the time.
More than one way for a clock to keep time, it seems, she says. She settles up next to you, your sire, who you didn't see for many, many years, decades, and who recently cropped up with so many secrets to reveal about your true heritage and your blood, and what that dance with Sadie really meant that day so very long ago when you were still human and breathing in a pub in New York.
So where you been all this time? Time just froze up for you. You got plenty of time on your hands now.
There's a lot to do when a city teeters on the brink, on the edge, much as this one does. Shoring up the foundation becomes a full-time job. We've been run ragged trying to sort out the ins and the outs. Who's who and what's what, and exactly what order should we put what order of priority should the threats, the difficulties we placed in. But we're starting to get a picture. Shall we walk back towards the city proper whilst we speak?
As you like. Let's make our way then.
I trust you are making a fine new home for yourself in the Burley's complex.
Quite a nice place. Smells like stale beer and lost love. Some sort of poetic shite like that.
Does it bring back memories?
Of course it does. Cat's house isn't exactly a faded memory.
So it's a bit like walking back in time.
I bet. But that's sort of the thing, isn't it? This whole life. We just play things on repeat and it loops around itself until it becomes some sort of big concentric circle.
The point then is to keep looking forward and to keep looking for ways to break out of that cycle. And that's exactly what we're hoping to accomplish here. I'm glad you've had some time to settle in and to make a home for yourself again. I trust that you and your friends will be comfortable there and safe. You own the entire block now, so you should not be encountering the same difficulties you did from City Hall before. Speaking of City Hall, did you hear about the Ventru Elder, the Primogen, Galen Redpath, disappearing in thin air last night?
Disappearing? Well. It's not every day that a Ventru just poof and vanishes.
It was a little more dramatic than that. There are forces at play in Montreal, it seems, that are not the kinds we usually tangle with. Kind of forces that are dangerous to even our kind. I believe it might be tied to that pyramid that they're building in the northwest corner of the Midtown.
More than just an eyesore, it seems. Do you need someone to snuff it out?
It's clear that this pyramid being built is at the core of the city's fate. Forces therein are looking for something very specific. Our feeling is that they want the city to rot and decay, but not die. If it dies, they have nothing to feast on. They have to keep the nightmares going, keep the population just getting by, their dreams haunted by darkness and visions of death, but still able to shuffle on each day. These carrion feed on the despair and the pain, not the death. They're unfortunately much too powerful and entrenched for us to take on. And I believe they're behind the disappearance of the Ventru Primogen. More than ever, we're going to need allies. If there's anything you can do to help the cause at this particular point, it's to rummage through the city's inhabitants and figure out which ones are willing to stand up for it and which ones have a vested interest in the city. You know the place, you know the people. We will need as much help as we can. This is not one of those slip in, break a neck, and then the problem goes away kind of situation. This is a lot more insidious, a lot more difficult, intangible to grasp on than just that. But one thing's for sure, we'll need friends. Do you think that this is something you can do? Do you think that there are people here that you could reach out to?
Certainly. We've got a whole parcel of people that could help us. Just depends on, what sort of skill sets you're looking for, as it were.
At this point, anything will do. We're not being too picky, and it's difficult to tell right now exactly what will be needed. I'd say let's start by ranking them by how devoted you feel they might be to the cause. We need people who will be willing to go the distance on this. So whoever you can think of, whoever you talk to, gauge their level of interest and dedication to the cause, and we'll start with that, I think. I think you can do that.
Certainly. I've got an oddball Tremere that might be a bit of help. She's a bit of a wackadoo, but hey, she could come in handy. I've also got one I'm not so sure about, and one I think that maybe he's not so sure about himself. He's got a bit of a foggy memory, but the things he knows, he really knows. So, 2 possible people that could help us out.
Well, it's a start. We'll keep working on things on our end, and as soon as I have more to share with you, I will. I'm wondering, do you know this rat that's been following us that seems to very desperately want your attention?
Well, if it's that same rat that perhaps burned down the last headquarters, then I imagine so, but I don't know much details about no rat. I tend to stay away from vermin myself.
She points, and you look and you see a rather large white rat who seems very clean and very healthy. He has, or she has, difficult to tell at this particular juncture, but whatever this rat seems to have a big pink bow tied around its neck, and there seems to be a little message or a piece of paper rolled and slipped through this pink bow that's attached around this rat's neck.
Oh, you meant this literal fucking rat that's been following us for the last... Oh, fuck. Well, alright. And I bend down and I pull the note out.
As you pull the note out, we travel once more out east to a certain gravel pit. You have come out, stepped out of the car, met each other. Anika has introduced her friend as Alexander Ross, and to you, Ross, she has introduced Arkham Olivier, a member of Clan Toreador in the city. As you stand there measuring each other up, Anika says, "This is the one I was talking to you about, Alexander. He's been struggling a lot with coming to terms with some of the more primal sides of his personality, of his being. I thought...
The one you've attempted to help?
Attempted? You do my efforts so little justice. I've done what I can. You're always so much better at converting people than I was. Particular gift of yours, that silver tongue and that fiery passion deep inside. I wonder if you could summon some of that old-timey Alexander Ross magic here, or has it all gone away as the The tribulations of recent months stamped down on that fire a little bit, Alexander.
Do not question my faith or my enlightenment so brazenly.
You know, of course, I have nothing but the deepest respect for you. I just wanted to see if you still had a bit of that spark in your eye. I do miss seeing that spark, Alexander. It was always the brightest light in the night. I gave you Arkham. Arkham, one of my oldest friends. Alexander is very knowledgeable in the things we've been discussing. She steps back and kind of...
I don't offer conversion, I offer wisdom, enlightenment, and truth. Do you seek any of those things?
Aniko, what is this bullshit?
Bullshit?
Listen, I'm not looking to buy whatever it is that you're selling. I already have one religious nut that I have to deal with in a father. So, I mean, I'm
not offering you anything but knowledge about what you are and what you could be.
You got to come a little bit better than that, Padre. I don't...
It's been a long time since I've heard you referred to as any sort of priest-like figure, Alexander. Brings back a lot of memories.
I know your struggle. I know what it's like to feel like you have a rat in your chest gnawing its way out. I know what it's like to have a drill in your mind that calls for eternal destruction and bloodshed. I know what it's like to lose control, to be a passenger in one's own eyes. I know all these things. I know the struggle between one's humanity and one's beast. And I stand before you as one who has found the synthesis necessary through enlightenment and knowledge. If that does not interest you, then you're not ready.
All right. So enlighten me. What kind of Mr. Miyagi bullshit do you have for me? And what's the shovel for?
We'll get to that. There are old ways and old rites that are the path to knowledge. There are old words that reveal more about what we are than most will be willing to tell you. This isn't about a god. It's about understanding where you came from and the struggles of those who came before you and how they conquered the task set before you by Cain's blood. I am not some fire and brimstone preacher. I am a teacher and a guide. But you'll have to understand that some of the enlightenment I offer you is through old ways of doing things, because they're tested and they're true and they work.
All right. So, without speaking in riddles, what do you want?
I have some questions first. What are you?
Annoyed.
Cute. What are you?
I don't know. I mean, what am I supposed to say in this moment? An animal? A monster? A beast? Someone who's hungry all the time? Wouldn't be anything different than before. So I go back to my first answer. I'm annoyed.
The truest answer is you don't know because no one taught you.
So then enlighten me.
You are capable of being something majestic. Being something that is the fusion of greatness and darkness. You are capable of becoming more than human because you have been chosen by the blood to be that. You are capable of true enlightenment to rise above the shackles of humanity. If you're brave enough. If you have the will.
Okay, fine. Whatever it is you have, I'm sure I have the will for it. I've met with sponsors that are not as creepy, but scarier than you.
I think part of what Alexander is trying to say here, Arkham, is that what makes this scary is that you have to look into yourself and discover things about yourself. And this is not a question of external forces rising up an obstacle against you, but rather looking at the darkest parts of yourself and making friends with them and acknowledging them. And that is what makes this frightening, because there will come a time, if you do this, there will come a time where you will be utterly alone in the dark with nothing but yourself. And the only thing preventing you from saving yourself will be what shreds of humanity you hang on to. Those are the shackles that will prevent you from rising. And if you're not prepared to discard these things and to accept the other parts of you that frightened those parts, you may not get to the other side.
Isn't that what we've been doing for the past few weeks, months? I've seen it. I've watched myself do these unspeakable things. I've accepted it. It's become a joy in some moments. So what else is there for me to face? I'm already alone. So what's the difference? What's going to make this different?
You're going to merge. You're going to go from thesis and antithesis to synthesis. You are going to come to peace and join with that which has divided you. You are going to stand on the shoulders of the beast rather than grapple with it. Or you'll fail, and I will think of you no more after this night.
Well, the second part's not going to happen.
Keep that energy.
So, and in this moment, you kind of see Arkham's shoulders kind of get less tense because he doesn't feel like there's a way out right now from this conversation. So what is it that you need?
For you to understand a few things before we begin. Do you know where we come from?
No. Infrastructure, money, intrigue. That I know that. History, not my forte. But I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me.
There was the first one of us. He is called by some Cain. And the stories of Cain and Abel have some reflection of his reality, though they've been sorely perverted over time as mortal hands inscribed them. But there was the first one of us, Cain. He wandered the land of Nod, much like you do. He is a guide to our existence. He taught us many things and continues to teach us many things. And he gave to some of us certain rights, one of which you're about to partake in. Those
Like
rights.
a ritual.
Rituals are powerful things. They can change your soul, your mind, your very essence. They're not mere words. They are real. And one of them is the creation rite. A descent into the bowels of the earth. A test of whether or not you can harness the power of the beast and join with it. Or whether you will stay in darkness forever.
Okay. So, what do we, or I, do for this rite?
Have you ever guided the beast, or do you simply ride as passenger? I want you to succeed. That is why I asked this question and other questions I'm going to ask.
I've always been a passenger.
Have you ever tried to guide its anger?
Yeah.
It's a survivor, ultimately. It's a better survivor than you will ever be, than I will ever be on our own. You need to focus on that. It eats because it wants to survive. It flees from flame because it wants to survive. It is the power of survival, most primal. It wants to exist for eternity like nothing else inside of you. If you think it's just a murderer, you've got it very wrong. Do you understand?
Yeah. For the most part.
At the same time, you can't let it consume you. You have to keep your pride. You have to keep what you are. You must embrace it as an ally and a friend, not as a master. You must still be you. As Cain said, not by God's mercy, but by my pride shall I live.
Okay.
Do not see it as mere anger. See it as a force for you to summon and join with.
Are you ready?
I have a question. I have two.
Ask.
Okay. What if I am unable to and it takes control? What then?
Then it will not have the direction or the intelligence to get out. You will be a screaming monster forever in the bowels of the earth. Until you succumb to hunger, like so many others have, who have attempted this. And you will not be worthy.
Okay. I guess my last question before we start. What the fuck is the shovel for?
He walks over and he picks it up. This is for your grave.
My what?
Your grave. I said the bowels of the earth. The old you is going to die.
I thought you were speaking in riddles.
Oh no. This is your death, a second death. And we'll see what emerges afterwards.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. It's... What?
I told you rituals have power. Do you know how many faiths, how many secret societies kill you a second time, metaphorically?
Yeah, I thought that's what this was, to where, like, and he's looking between the two of them, to where, like, some old version of myself dies, and I, in the sense of, I give it away. You, what the...
I'm sorry.
There's ways around this, is there?
You can refuse.
This is the part, Arkham.
I told you this is old rites. Old ways, and they work.
And this is the part where you either allow yourself to fall backwards into the arms of those who would catch you, or not.
Or I could kill him now. I've done it before. It'd be easy.
Kill me.
That would gain you nothing.
It'll gain me not being fucking buried.
And here I had such high hopes.
Well, hold...
What are you afraid of?
That is not going to work.
How else should I interpret it?
Fine.
Arkham, you think I'm being manipulative, but you'll find me one of the most honest kindred you have ever met.
Surprisingly, I don't think you've lied to me once, which is the scary part.
I'll tell you a secret. If you weren't afraid, at least a little, if you weren't questioning this at least a little, you'd be a fool. And I don't think you're foolish.
Fine. I'm ready.
We'll see. He starts walking behind the SUV, and there's a grave dug in the gravel pit. 6 feet deep. Stand there. He points to the foot of it.
Fine. Goes and he stands.
Blessed be the Dark Father who gave us this right. Blessed be this one who comes to be reborn as a child of Cain. May he pass this test as the Dark Father passed so many tests. May he pass all temptations and join with all that he has been gifted with. Praise be the Dark Father.
Oh, fuck you.
And with that, I hit him over the head with a shovel very hard.
And on the resonating clang of that shovel, we hear in the distance of Montreal the tolling of a bell. It is 1 a.m. The bell tolls once and reverberates throughout the city. Fiona, you stand there, this rat on your shoulder, a little piece of paper, a message written on what appears to be the back of a Harvey's napkin. A little bit of burger grease still on the corner. It says, I have someone who needs you very much, and I would like you to meet them. If you are interested, come and meet me below the bridge as soon as this has been delivered. And if you have some morsel of food, please feed Raphael. He's been a very good boy.
Don't get too comfortable. And I pick up like a cold French fry and just...
Raphael makes love to that French fry. He just... It's indecent how he gorges.
All right, that's enough of that. And I take him off and I put him down on the bar top.
He looks at you.
Don't be fucking cute. There's nothing I can... Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, then. I throw a bar towel over my shoulder and, like, put the rat back up on there.
You say goodbye to Irene as she does not crack a single smile, does not laugh, does not show any emotion at this rat or everything that's transpired. Her face as impassionate as ever, as dispassionate as ever, I should say. She nods to you and heads back towards where she left her car. And as you make your way towards Jacques Cartier Bridge and eventually find your way to the bus parking depot that sits underneath its girders, you see out between a couple of these buses, which have been parked to sort of hide the area from view, appears to be a very cozy little campground of sorts. There are several lawn chairs. There is a barrel that is filled with a beautiful warm fire that has been covered enough with a grating that it doesn't send you into a paroxysm of fear. There is a man, appears to be human for sure. As you approach him, you realize that it's not a kindred or a ghoul or anything like that. Fairly young man, dressed in a number of scavenged pieces of clothing, several necklaces and bits and pieces of feathers and bones and things hanging around his neck. There are about 2, maybe 3 dozen rats here, all very well kept, all just sort of moving about doing rat things. And this young man who looks up as you approach has been preparing himself some tea on this little fire barrel that he's got. And as you approach, he says, I'm so glad you came. I didn't know that you would be coming. I very much appreciate it. Please, come, have a seat. On that side, you will not see the fire if you sit over there.
Thanks.
I've heard a lot about you, Fiona. A lot of people in the city that you have helped. They speak very highly of you and your friends, and I have very often watched your work with a lot of the manifestations and things that you have arranged and organized. I think you have done some tremendous work for the city, keeping those who would lead us at least honest to a certain degree. And I'm told that you recently had some problems dealing with some of them. I hope that they have been resolved and that things are better now.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you'd exactly define the word resolve, but, you know, my HQ being blown up and then relocating, I wouldn't say that's a resolution of any kind. I'm just glad to be back on my feet. But who the fuck are you? And please, next time you need a message sent, don't send vermins into my bar. Thanks. It's a health code violation.
Oh, but my friends are very clean. I don't think that I would apply the environment to them, but I get your meaning. I will be more careful in the future. As you might surmise, many people call me the Rat King, but you may call me Nathaniel, as it is the name that I have chosen for myself and that I prefer. If I may call you Fiona?
Yes, you can. Here, I think that this one belongs to you, and I take off.
Raphaël, oui, c'est mon meilleur messager. And he reaches out and he takes the white rat from you. Oh, tu as très bien fait, mon ami. Oh, je vois qu'il t'a donné quelque chose à manger. And he wipes some of the French fry grease off of his little mustaches and then go play with your friends. They are waiting for you. And he deposits him very kindly on the ground. And then he sits back up and he pours himself some tea. Do you like tea, or perhaps you do not partake of these kinds of libations?
No, I'm fine, thanks. It's been a long time since I've had a cup of tea.
It's my favorite. It's orange with some kind of flower. I don't know too much, but I get it from Le Mélange Magique down on St. Catherine. It's very good. And he pours out some cups. Would you like a sucre? He holds up a little cube of sugar.
No, that's fine, thanks. I don't want to turn down any hospitality. I really just... Why are we here? If you wanted to have a meeting, you could very well have come where it's not, smelling of raw sewage and at the bus depot.
I'm very sorry for the surroundings, but I find that it helps me keep my mind on what is important to live as those less fortunate amongst us live. I'm just reminded of who really needs help in the city and who deserves a little bit more compassion and empathy. And I know that your kind is not very well known for those qualities, but I know that in your own way you have shown it very often, and that is why I have thought to reach out to you. A few months ago, I rescued someone from a very dark place, a very difficult situation. It turns out this person is like you in many ways, and while I have been keeping them here with me, and we have been getting along, when this person was put in the situation they were put in, they were very young as far as your kind is concerned. They had only recently become, and I feel that they need certain education that I cannot provide, and so I've been taking a good long look at the people of your kind in this city to try and find one that I feel might perhaps be best suited to help this young person out. And so I reached out to you. I was hoping that you might be willing to talk to them and perhaps get a sense of whether or not you think you might be able to help them.
Well, where are they? Can I talk to them, size them up? Listen, I'm not really in the business of taking on apprentices. I've got a lot of work to do, and I understand that you appreciate the kind of work that I do, and it's always good to have boots on the ground and things like that, but taking on an apprentice is it's not exactly in the cards for me, I don't think. Especially one I haven't met.
I don't think that anyone expects you to be responsible for them. I'm sure your kind has their own laws concerning these. As far as I'm concerned, this is not a question of me giving you an apprentice and you take them into your home and you make this person has their own life. They just need some guidance from someone who knows a little bit better what it's like to be one of your kind. And I feel that your intentions and your empathy, I guess, for those who need help is the key ingredient here, what this person really needs. And yes, they are nearby, but they're a little shy. But if you're interested, I will certainly call them out and introduce them, and you may speak with them.
My spidey senses are up. I would like to assess whether or not this is a dangerous situation, because this is just textbook catfishing.
It's rat fishing. To be precise.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, go ahead, and you're gonna roll me your wits plus awareness.
Bleakseason, because it's been so fucking long since I've been on a stream of any kind, will you remind me what I need to be rolling? I've got a whole bunch of D10s here. Just eager and itching to roll these little click-clacks.
So let's start with the rouse check for tonight. Let's make a rouse check to start with. So just go ahead and roll me a D10. You can also do all this on Demiplane if you want, but for the rouse check, you can just roll a D10.
That's a 6.
That's good. That's a success. So we'll say you have only one hunger right now. So you're going to take a number of dice equal to your wits, a number of dice equal to your awareness. You're going to replace one of those dice by a hunger die.
That's I got 2 10s, and then the rest were 2s and 3s, but they were not 10s on the hunger die.
So okay, the 10s are not on the hunger die. That's good. So that's 4 successes. Excellent work. So you don't feel that there's any danger to you or any threat to you at all in this circumstance. He seems to be very open, very frank, and you don't get a sense that there's anything hidden here.
All right, Ratty Pants, bring out your little friend.
He smiles very broadly and he turns, and as he calls to them, we travel back to the gravel pit. You are standing with Anika, Alex, I was went in French here, Alexander, staring at the mound of dirt that now covers the tomb, the grave where Arkham now lies, as it were. And as you are...
a few solid pats with the shovel, just to be sure. You're
waiting to see what's going to come of it, and as you are giving it a few final pats, Anika says, Annabelle resurfaced among the Ventru of the city here.
Indeed. I have old business with her.
So you've said. I find it interesting that the night she showed up, the primogen of the clan, Galen Redpath, you remember old Galen, don't you? He disappeared and is presumed dead.
Venture aren't in the habit of disappearing.
This one disappeared in a very spectacular fashion, if I am to believe what I'm told. He was sitting in his car, and one of his minions was about to enter the car with him when suddenly the car folded in on itself several times and disappeared before leaving behind a neon sign that glowed for a brief moment in the air and said, "Behave." And then that disappeared also. The humans who witnessed the event went mad, started crying, ran away. Some went catatonic. Others swore they saw nothing.
Curious. Ravnos trickery?
We've not heard from Galen since. It's the only thing I know.
That is a quite unusual exit.
Dramatic. I applaud and I appreciate the drama of it all. Certainly. But I find it interesting that it happened a few hours after Annabelle showed back up, walked into a boardroom and declared herself part of the clan here. Which, lest you should forget, is Camarilla City still.
I knew she was a traitor. I knew she had turned her back on us. I did not know she was going to be so brazen about it. I did not know she had allies that could, frankly, do things worthy of Bugs Bunny.
Thing is this, Alexander, I can lure her out for you. I'm going to need Arkham to do that, so I hope he, well, passes the test. But I can lure her out for you, but I think it's clear you're going to need to be ready with everything you have at your disposal. Who's left in the pack?
Unfortunately, it is myself, Kellen, and Roz. Plus, we have managed to have a dubious ally in a corrupt moon beast by the name of Prudence. Roz has taken a shining to Prudence.
That's an interesting pairing.
Asher and the others are dead. Clovis betrayed us. I embraced one to bulk up our numbers, Miriam Saft. I created her after the ambush that killed most of the pack, but Clovis killed her before I could stop him.
So that leaves 3 of you, plus perhaps Roz's little pet. Myself, of course. I'll help.
There's nothing little about her. You should see her.
And you think she'll fight at your side?
I think she has a deep love of violence.
As they all do. I'll bring Annabelle to you, or you to her, and I'll help, but after that, I need you to let me go. I no longer want any part of this. The Sabbat's done. Soon the Camarilla will be gone also. It's the end times, Alexander, Gehenna. I want to live the few remaining nights we do have in peace, doing things that I love, not fighting a senseless, unending war with a predetermined outcome. Can you give me that?
You wish to run from the battlefields of the final war?
As fast and as far away as I can.
Cain will reward those who sit at his right hand at the end of time. Did you forget that part of the predetermined ending?
Cain can eat my entire unwashed ass. Alex, I have something else for you that I will give you if you give me your word. And I will tell you also that I was on my way out. I was leaving when you cornered me that night and asked me to stay, and I did stay, and I have been doing my part. But I will tell you something else that might really interest you if you give me your word that once we have dealt with Annabelle, you will let me go.
What?
There is, in Montreal currently, a pack of Lilans. 4 of them. Their numbers growing almost nightly. They seem to be very certain that something big is about to happen that excites them greatly. And I know where they are.
Do you see them as my allies or as my prey?
Well, I thought that you might take particular offense at their dismissal of Cain's role in all of this and the value of the Dark Father, but you get to choose whatever you like. They are, or were, Sabbat. They left Newark when Newark fell to the Anarchs. Traveled up here on some vision quest that one of their priestesses had.
You ask for my word, knowing what my word means, being what I am. So I'll give it very precisely. The night that you lead Annabelle to us, if Annabelle dies, I will let you go. And I will not hunt you unless we meet again. Is that acceptable?
Very much so. She reaches out, lifts up her hand, bites deep into it. You see the blood welling there. She extends her hand to you.
He does the same, biting deep and joining the 2 palms, the blood mixing. My word is freely given, and I shall abide by it.
As shall I.
Make sure I never see you again.
If I do anything that would bring me in your orbit again, Alexander, then I have failed and I absolutely deserve whatever it is you'll do to me.
May you have the fate you deserve.
I think we all will. I think we should perhaps prepare a little cocktail for a friend. He might be peckish if he makes it out.
Oh, you think I came unprepared in that regard?
I was just testing you. And speaking of tests, down in the darkness, the blow to the head didn't knock you out, Arkham. It did knock you out, but it sent you reeling, and the next thing you realized, you were face down into the grave. You started feeling dirt hitting your back. At first you were stunned by the insolence of this, the smack to the back of the head with a shovel, and maybe for a moment you thought, well, fuck this shit, and then you started thinking, oh, I need to remember which way is up, and you started spinning just in time to get a nice big shovel full of dirt right in the face. Your mouth opened to scream, but it was choked out immediately by another shovel full of dirt, and before you could really get your bearing or sort of know what was happening, it was dark. You couldn't hear anything, you couldn't see anything. There was this oppressive weight, and for a moment you thought, oh, whichever direction the weight's coming from is going to be up. But no, it felt like it was coming from all sides, as if you were being squeezed on all sides by a giant hand. And then it was dark, and then you were left completely alone with what's inside of you. You heard a snarl, a low, trembling growl, and you weren't sure what was making it, something inside of you or your throat filled with dirt trying to clear itself out. And then you didn't feel alone anymore. There was something else lying right there beside you, enveloped all around you, seeping into your bones and seeping into every part of your soul that was exposed. And in those first few moments, you thought of Constance, you thought of Maria, of her art. You thought of beautiful paintings you'd seen before and how they'd stirred and moved you. You thought of the best wines you'd ever had, the best blood you'd ever drunk, the sex you'd had. You thought of the perfumes, the aromas that you used to bathe in and cover yourself in, the finest garments that you wore, the sound of your cars, all these things that brought you so much pleasure. And they seemed so far away. And for a moment you tried very hard to keep remembering these things that made you happy, that brought you pleasure, that made you feel like you'd succeeded, that made you feel like you mattered, that made you feel like you owned things, you were someone. All these false idols, these things that we use to make us believe that we have a personality, or that we matter, or that we've arrived, or that we've accomplished something. And you realize deep down here in the dirt, at the bottom of a 6-foot grave, there is only room for two things: you and your fear. What do you do? What's going through your mind?
It's initially panic, because he can still replaying the sound of the dirt piling on top of him. And then after he slowly gets past that, and that feeling of not being alone and just kind of sitting with himself and with his thoughts, he kind of laughs to himself, or as much as he could, under dirt. And he takes a moment to settle in. He almost has a moment of acceptance of, I could just do this. No one's expecting anything. No one is asking. No one needs. I don't need anything. I could just be here. And then that turns into a very small wisp of defiance, because that would be too easy. That would be too easy for everyone. the entire coven, this idiot who smacked me in the head, Anika, anyone else. Be easy for Constance. And I'm not one to make anything easy. And that defiance grows, and it grows into anger, and it's kind of a small burning ember that is trying to turn into a fire, which makes sense because creation. And the fucker said something about creation. Best pathway to creation is destruction, so I guess I'll just leave it here.
If it's going to be so hard, it's going to be so difficult, you don't know which way is up. You have only your hands, you don't have any tools, you have nothing to claw out of here, and isn't it so much easier to just stay here? It's quiet and comfortable. Eventually you'll fall asleep into torpor, maybe sleep for a decade, maybe 100 years. Eventually someone will dig you up. It happens all the time. And maybe
Could be fine.
Maybe when you pop out there won't be any of these idiots around or any of these problems. Maybe you'll be fine and just be quiet for a little while. You even feel like that beast is receding, is going away in that darkness. It's quieting down.
I could use the sleep. I'm so tired.
Your beast mews. Frightened little kitten.
No. It's still too easy. It's not as fun. Fuck this. And he starts to move Earth. He doesn't know which direction it's moving, but he's just moving it. And with each wisp or each movement, swipe of his hand, that thought that it would be so easy starts to get quieter and quieter, and it's replaced with, I don't want to make it easy. It's never been easy. And he's just clawing his way right back to the top. And the quiet, the comfort, the warmth that he hasn't felt in such a long time under the dirt is turning into mania. And that mania is being emoted through this cackle of laughter as he continues to just shovel, not even knowing if he's going in the right direction, but he's going to fucking move.
With every handful of dirt that you move, you feel the skin around your fingertips rip to shred. You feel your nails break and split and peel back. You eventually feel the very bones of your fingers grating against stone and earth. And with every handful of dirt that you move, something disappears. That flicker of care, liking you had for Constance, gone. That need for acceptance, that need for others to look at you a certain way, that need for luxury, the need for beautiful, fine things, the need to obey, to follow the rules, the need to do anything but what you want. It all starts to frither and fray like an old garment that soon becomes ill-fitting and so shredded that it starts to fall apart around you. Meanwhile, Fiona, you watch as from one of the buses, nearby, a young woman appears, evidently a kindred. She approaches you with some uncertainty, a degree of suspicion in her eyes. She says, "Hi, my name is Miriam."
They call me Fiona.
You'll have to excuse me. I haven't seen anyone like us in a while, and the last time I did, it wasn't very pleasant. I'm a little afraid.
Well, unless you're gonna try and kill me, I'm not gonna try and kill you. So how's that for a pact?
The ones that I was with, the ones that made me, they were pretty volatile and very aggressive, and let's just say it wasn't the best of experience. My creator,
Sire.
yeah, that he tried, I guess, to make me understand, to make me see. He truly believed that this was some sort of gift, and at the same time I thought he cared, but then he let me go, and the place I went to was very, very dark and very, very cold and very, very scary. And I had just watched my wife die, and I was trapped in there with all those emotions, and it felt like that's all that there was. I was in this dark hole with nothing but all the bad things that had just been happening to me and to the people I love, and I keep struggling with finding a reason to keep going.
Right, well, we just met and that was quite the therapy session, but first and foremost, your sire is not your parent. They're not there to love you unconditionally. They're not there to raise you up and teach you the ways and that you garner their approval or some shite like that. It doesn't work like that. It's not a babysitter or an older sibling or a close friend. It's your fucking sire. I don't know if you picked up on this fact, but we are monsters. And what your sire did in particular, by the sound of it, you say dark and whole and well, I'm guessing that means you were embraced Sabbat then.
I'm not quite sure what that means. The whole was not created by my sire. The whole was created by Clovis, a friend of my sire. He turned on everyone and he was trying to get them to do something they didn't want to do, and he held my wife hostage and then forced my sire to make a decision about me. But my sire was not the one who created the whole.
Okay, so you embraced Sabbat in like a really fucked up way, even if it could be even more fucked up than it is to do it. Right, there's a whole lot that we could unpack here, but I'm not going to fucking do it in a goddamn bus depot when it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Look, you look fucking hungry. I imagine you might be. And you look like you might need a little help. And I swear to God, I mean it when I say, if you don't try and fucking kill me, I won't try and fucking kill you. Do you understand?
I don't. I wouldn't even know where to start with something like that.
Right, exactly. So we're not going to do it.
I was a paramedic before I was changed.
And I was a factory worker back in New York. We all had.
Well, now then.
Well, I take a good look at her. Does she have like, are her clothes clean, or has she been like hiding out in the sewers with the Rat King?
No, she seems clean. She's obviously been feeding. She's got, you know, kind of mismatched clothes, but everything's clean, and she, you know, she has enough of them, and she does not in any way, shape, or form look like someone who's been living out on the streets, really.
How about this? You're going to come back with me. I'm going to tidy you up a little bit, maybe get you something that matches, a bit more flattering. And, well, we'll get you sorted. Paramedic, you say, so I might have a job for you if you're looking for, I don't know, something to be meaning in this here eternal existence.
Do we have jobs? Is that what we do? Because my sire and his friends certainly didn't look like they had day jobs, if you know what I mean.
I'm not talking about all the fucking pencil pushers, may they all get lead poisoning, but I'm talking about jobs, real jobs, things that could change the landscape of a city, a country, a world. See, when you're as old as me, or as old as my sire, or as old as her sire, or that goes on and on and on. You kind of have to find something to do with all this bloody time. And quite frankly, I don't think that filing some fucking expense reports for some yuppie scum downtown is exactly the cut of your jib, nor is it mine. When I say job, I mean meaning. I mean something you can really sink your teeth into. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sink your teeth into it. Do you know my sire? His name was Alexander. He was Ventru.
I can't say that I do. Quite frankly, I haven't met too many of those that run in the Sabbat packs, but I'm sure I will pick up on his name coming up here right quick if he's in the city. You see, there's a lot to explain, but Sabbat are not exactly welcome here. Most of you come from Quebec City and other surrounding places, God forbid Newark, New Jersey, but
There was... I don't remember, and I don't know exactly what happened, but we were in a house and there was a driveway and there was like 20 some odd naked people in the driveway, like zombies. They walked up and then they all dropped into the driveway and they filled it up, and it was of some concern to Alexander and the others.
I'm sorry, a bunch of naked zombie-like people, you said around about 20, maybe a little more.
Yeah, and one of the people that came, there was this guy called Turk and this woman called Prudence, and they said that these were gifts to my sire and the others, and they all had these people, these humans all had these marks on their arms, like inverted triangles.
Right, that's really not fucking great, and quite frankly, we're going to relocate this conversation back to my bar, like I was saying, because there's a lot of shite that I really want you to like go into the very, very explicit detail about this whole thing, and I'm going to have someone copy it down, and whatever you saw was fucked, so we're going to just get it right sorted. And I turn to Nathaniel and I say, thanks for your time and your friend, and I nod to Raphael and I give him a little. Anytime you want a little extra poutine, you know who to come see. But we really must be going. We've got some work to do.
When you look at Raphael, he's got this red lollipop that he's just hanging on to for dear life and sort of munching away on it. Nathaniel goes, of course, I'm so glad the two of you hit it off. Miriam, you know you can always come back and see me. You know where to find me if there's anything. You know I will always have a room for you, a home for you, but I think this is best. Fiona here can teach you more about your ways than I ever could. I hope that you are well and that you find yourself again. I know things have been difficult, but you can always come back. And she walks up to him and she says, thank you, Nathaniel. You've been absolutely incredibly kind, and I will certainly come and see you again. I thank you so much. And she gives him a big hug and he's like, yes, of course, anytime you need. Thank you, Fiona, so much. And same thing, if you ever need to talk to me, you just signal any rat that you see in your vicinity and they will get the message to me.
I gotta admit, that's pretty fucking impressive. Thanks very much. We'll see you around.
And as you're heading back out away from this particular situation, sorry, I guess I was muted. As you're heading back out away from this particular situation with Miriam following you, still looking kind of unsure, she's got this little red backpack that's got a bunch of stuff in it now that she's just kind of clutching in front of her as she's walking behind you. You are about to tell her that you're going to take her to your bar when your phone beeps, and when you pick it up and look at it, it is in fact the phone number of the bar. Someone from the bar calling you.
Hello.
We have a situation here, boss.
Elaborate.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please, Kato?
Would you please elaborate?
Yeah, you see, it's in the reading room with the drawing. And on that note, you watch Alexander and Anika as dirt starts to move on the mound, starts to respond to the vibrations and starts to dribble down on the sides, and appears to be some kind of action, something happening down there. I'm gonna need you, Ian, just to make this interesting.
Sure.
I'm gonna need you to make me a willpower. So you're gonna roll a number of dice equal to your willpower.
Okay.
All right.
And 3 successes.
How much humanity do you have?
5.
You're digging. You're digging. You're digging. The more you dig, the more these thoughts and feeling return. If you don't dig your way out, Constance will be better off. If you don't dig your way out, so many people will survive, will live, will get to go on with their lives, have families, have children. If you don't make it out, the world will be a better place. You are 2 successes short, as you have 5 humanity and only 3 successes on your willpower now. You do have night move.
I do.
I will give you your options.
Mm-hmm.
The first one being that you can spend 2 night moves post roll to get 2 extra dice to roll. Or how many night moves are you sitting at? You're sitting at 5 night moves. So you could
5.
You could have those 5 and roll up to 10 dice to try and get a couple more successes. Or I will let you blow 2 night moves per success you're missing to just make it and get yourself out of this.
Burning 1 night move gives me how many dice? 2?
2.
2?
And you have 5 currently, so you could get up to 10 if you...
I want to burn 3, so I'll roll 6 additional.
Okay. You go, girl.
Four successes.
Total with what you had before, or new successes?
Total, it's 7 successes.
Excellent. You watch Alexander as this ravaged, destroyed, stripped away to the bone hand comes clawing through the dirt, followed by another one, and the dirt mound seems to collapse in on itself as all the dirt starts to filter through behind him and fill the hole that he's leaving behind, almost as if he is being rejected by the earth. Dirty, wild, his clothes stripped, his hands, his feet destroyed, spitting dirt, spitting rocks. Arkham Olivia rises from the grave.
Arkham kind of pulls himself out of the hole, kind of like shuffling to the side, getting the dirt out of his mouth and shaking his head. He's wide-eyed. His fangs have descended. And he lifts his head up and he looks at Alexander and he goes, "I'm going to kick your ass now."
Congratulations. You've done what many failed to do.
All right. What now?
You must be hungry.
Uh-huh.
Storyteller, could I have come prepared with a vessel?
I would expect nothing less from Alexander Ross.
I grab a nearby person, dressed sloppily, probably a vagrant, and I shove it down in front of you. It has a bag over his head.
It is, if you will permit me, it is a woman, and one thing that is noticeable about her is that she has no teeth, and this will make sense to some other people later. Just humor me.
Absolutely.
Does this person mean anything to you?
It's a gift for you. Do what you will.
Arkham stands up. He grabs this person by their collar and he drags them behind whatever vehicle Alexander came in. And almost in an instant, you hear a squelch and a rip. And then Arkham comes from the other side of the vehicle, face covered.
Feel better.
The woman, before you bit into her, opened her eyes and said, "Father, my name's Lillian, not Lilith." And then you bit into her and did your thing. And it was odd when you bit into her because it felt more right, more natural than ever. Any shred of feeling you had ever had. For humans you drank from, completely gone. This was just a nice piece of steak, and your humanity is now at 0. The moral codes of humans no longer applies to you. There was nothing wrong with what you did. You did what you needed to do to survive another moment.
And I think that's why it was so quick. Like, there was no... Like, normally Arkham would like to play with this food. The smell of fear was sweet to him before he fed. And this, like you had said, it was just something that I have to do, which is why there was no fuss, no muss. Gone.
You are reborn. You have survived a second death. You are now more than you were. You are now both of your halves as one. Congratulations, brother.
And we'll work on that.
Should we celebrate? Anika says as she brings forth a crystal goblet and places it on the hood of the car. It is customary for those who come together in such times to forge bonds between themselves, and she reopens the wound that she opened earlier when shaking Alexander's hand and drips a good portion of her blood into the crystal chalice in front of her.
It is tradition. Come, let us have the Valdery together and bond together.
So I gotta get used to this. Okay.
In time, such things will become clear. Ancient rites are well proven. Alexander walks over and takes the goblet. He cuts his hand open at the same point, mirroring what she did. Drips the blood in and says, "This blood is freely given so that I might be bound to my brothers and sisters." And he hands the goblet to Arkham.
Arkham takes the goblet. He's looking at you and he's like, do I need to cut myself too? Okay. It's fine. And he mimics the same, pours it into the goblet.
He takes the goblet and says, "This is the blessed Valdery of Kang. It joins us in blessed vinculum. It joins us so that we might be bound and know each other, that we might befriend each other, that we might be joined together as Canaanites, not as humans." He passes his hand over the goblet in a ritual gesture. He takes a drink. He hands it to his left, to Annika.
The blood that flows through all our veins ties us and binds us together in a way that the laws of man never could. It is a symbol of trust and faith we put in each other, and not a prison. And she drinks from a goblet. Always so... She hands it over to you, Arkham.
And Arkham grabs it, looks at it, like hesitantly for a small bit, and he goes, "I don't have any words." And then he just takes a sip.
All of it.
finishes it.
That went pretty well.
He takes the goblet gently and hands it back.
She grabs it and just kind of dangles it upside down between her fingers, the remains of the blood in it just kind of flicking back and forth. Took your first step tonight, Arkham. This is not over yet, but significant. Significant.
What else? What else?
The rest is up to you.
There?
The rest is up to you. The rest is what do you do with this. Now, I do have one more little task for you tonight if you want, and we're going to see exactly to what degree this has helped you. I think you're going to be surprised. Have you ever been to Hurley's, the pub, the big-ass, loud pub downtown Montreal?
No, I haven't.
In one of the rooms of this pub, it's called the Reading Room. When you go there tonight, you're going to see an old sketch of Oscar Wilde on the wall. The symbolism should not escape you. Retrieve that sketch. Now, you need to control yourself. Don't kill anyone. But don't let anyone stop you from taking the sketch. Do what you must, but don't kill. Show that you are in control. Bring it back to me. And we'll be able to see then if this was a success as much as it seems to be.
Clawing myself out of dirt wasn't... Okay. Hurley's, a sketch of Oscar Wilde. Don't kill anybody.
I don't know if Alexander wishes to accompany you or not, but he'll make that decision on his own.
I think I'm done here for this evening. However, Arkham, I'm impressed. There are many paths open to you now. Many other ways of being, ways that embrace what you are. Come to me if you have any questions. I am, by my nature, a guide. Oh, and one other thing. He reaches inside of his jacket and throws you a towel.
No. Okay, Arkham actually does kind of laugh at that. He's like, that's a good one. Yeah, no, I'm going to need this.
I have a change of clothes for you in the car. I had prepared for this eventuality. Alexander, once again, thank you so much, and let us not forget our promises to each other. If you would like to have a discussion with those who believe in the Dark Mother, I believe they are to be found in the botanical gardens of the city.
It'll be an interesting discussion.
Mother and father are going to fight?
And of course, it's a garden.
They are kind of trite, aren't they?
Each plays their role, I suppose.
Pretty soon it won't matter. Darkness falls on us all.
Nihilism is intellectual cowardice.
Truth is the truth. These are the end times. You know it as much as I do, but we each live out our last nights the way we feel we must. I will bring Annabelle to you, assuming Arkham is successful in retrieving the sketch tonight. I will bring Annabelle to you. Or you to her. You decide.
I will prepare warm reception.
I've no doubt you will. Thank you, Alexander. And she reaches up on tippy toes and gives you a little kiss on the cheek and brushes some non-existent lint from your lapels. As always, you are the true meaning of the Sabbat.
I will choose to take that as a compliment.
She gives you a little smile that says, okay. Arkham, shall we?
Yeah, please, let's go.
You find yourself, Arkham, in the parking lot with Anaika in her car. She reminds you the reading room is upstairs, second floor. And this time of night, the bar is almost closed. There should be almost no one around. You'll find the sketch in a frame on one of the walls. It may have an impact on you when you see it, but do not let that deter you. And remember what I said. This is about you being in control, doing what you need to do, accomplishing what you need to accomplish, but being in control. Don't kill anyone. Do what you need to do, but don't kill anyone. If you succeed, call me tomorrow at dusk and I'll come and find you and get the sketch from you and we'll discuss the following steps. But you did very good tonight, Arkham. Very, very good, and I think you're going to see that tomorrow night will bring a brand new dusk.
I hope so. I hope so.
What do you do?
I clean myself off, I change my clothes, and I take myself over to that bar. I think I maybe like pass it a little bit first just to kind of get a look at it.
So the
going in.
Hurley's complex is on Crescent Street in downtown Montreal. It takes up most of a city block. The bar itself was once owned by a former police officer and was kind of known throughout North America as a place that police officers could come. One of the walls had patches from police officers from all over displayed on it. But it recently was acquired by somebody else. It's got several different rooms, 7 or 8 of them, all different theme, most of them some form or variation of the Irish pub. It is a place that is renowned for its live Irish music and pretty much a center of nightlife in Montreal as far as the pub going goes for several decades. It's a bit run down by now, as are most other things in the city. Some of the other businesses around are barricaded. There's plywood in the windows. You can see the dead neon sign of a strip club nearby called Teasers. There is another brew bar nearby called Brutopia, and across the street is a place called Mad Hatters that seems to be filled with people who are probably too young to actually be in a bar. Yet, there they are. At this hour of night, it's pretty quiet. The only people left behind in the pub are the regulars and the diehards, the people that get to stick around to finish their pint after the 3 a.m. last call.
Okay. And the reading room is on the second floor?
Exactly.
Do I have access, or is there access to it using that spiral staircase thingy?
You can. There are balconies and things like that, so you could do that in the front. If you want to go to the back, there is definitely an alley, and you would be able to find some kind of... in the back, there is a terrace that is currently being closed. Just one bartender kind of, cleaning up behind. The terrace itself is closed. The heating lamps have gone down. But there is access to an old rusted fire escape that goes up to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th floor.
Okay. Cool. I go to the back where that single bartender is, and I just show up, and I go, "Hey, I'm sorry. I think I left my wallet."
Oh, yeah. Where were you sitting? You can tell that he's looking at your face, and he's got that I don't remember you kind of face. Your bartenders are pretty good with that. Do you need me to ask the busboy, or do you remember where you were sitting?
Well, I was. It was kind of and I punch him in the face to knock him out.
Go ahead and give me a strength plus brawl.
Strength brawl. Let's go. 4 successes.
You clock him a solid one. There's that dry sound of bone on bone as his teeth clack together and your knuckles dig right into his face, and he pitches back and falls neatly behind the bar. The back door is wide open and you can see a staircase leading up. You hear the sounds of "And I'll go roving no more" as a couple of the musicians are doing the last few acoustic numbers for the bartenders as they're cleaning up the place. You step inside, that smell of old beer and what used to be cigarette smoke, but now is just the smell of fried food from the fish and chips and all that. The rug, the rugs are threadbare, old. The paint is peeled and cracked in many places, but the place has life. The place has atmosphere. The place is dirty and old and tired, but there's so much life still resonating and vibrating through its walls. You climb up to the second floor. You spot a busboy, but you tuck away in the shadows and he passes you by without knowing you're there. You step into a room designed to look like an old Victorian drawing rooms with books all around. A few tables, but mostly these deep recessed booths. And there above the fake fireplace, framed in this simple unadorned wooden frame, is a sketch of Oscar Wilde that at first glance doesn't really seem like anything special. But as you approach it, and his eyes lock onto yours, you feel something you haven't felt in a long time. You feel that stir that long ago would transfix you when you saw something of such beauty that it resonated throughout your entire being. And there is something else now. You recall, of course, his most famous work, The Portrait of Dorian Gray, the man who presented one face to the world while hiding away the true horrors of it in the painting in his home. The two sides, the two figures. And as you watch this sketch, it seems to slowly begin to morph and change. The eyes turn into yours. The brow yours, the nose, the mouth, the hair. You recognize in the portrait now staring at you the creature that was buried with you in the grave. Thanks so much for the raid, Phoenixy Wacky. I know you were having your first vampire game tonight. I hope that went well and that no one got bit. Ha ha ha. Welcome to our little vampire game. Fiona, you arrive at the bar and you see that the bartenders and everyone that's left behind are quite concerned, and they're all kind of gathered together. And as you approach, Rod, your manager, comes up to you and goes, he's in the drawing room. He hasn't moved for the past 20 minutes. He's just standing there staring at this picture, at the picture of Oscar Wilde. We can't move him. We can't talk to him. He doesn't respond. He's just staring.
Well. Right. I think I'll handle this on my own now. If you would, please just stay nearby in case I need a little backup.
Do you want me to call anyone? You want me to call Bruno?
You know I love to have Bruno on hand.
Right. I'll get on it. And the girl that's with you?
Oh, I glance over at Miriam. Take her to the office. And I hold up the key and put it into Rod's palm. Lock it. I don't want her getting hurt. She's a little underripe, as it were.
You walk upstairs. When you arrive in the drawing room, you see him standing there, arms limp at his side, staring at the portrait of Oscar Wilde. A portrait that has some meaning to you, that you've rediscovered recently after thinking it lost for so very long. A portrait that used to hang in the pub, your first pub in New York, long ago when you still breathed. It's nothing special, but it's special. Have you two ever met? That's a good question. Let's have each of you roll a d10.
Okay.
No, just tell me what you got.
Oh, I got an 8.
I also got an 8.
You have, at some point, encountered each other. I'll let you figure out as you go along what that was like, but
You're muted, Blake.
you have at some point encountered each other, and I'll let you decide what that was like as you go through this, but you recognize Arkham Olivier, a toreador, tastemaker, and art critique, and gallery curator from the above world. And when you lay eyes on Fiona, Arkham, you will recognize Fiona Saif Bruja from the underworld, a kind of rabble-rouser and troublemaker who's always involved with riots and things of that nature that disrupt the peace and that make life for the law-abiding citizens such as yourself so difficult. But for now, you are absorbed in the painting. In Fiona, you recognize him. Standing there, vacillating, staring at this picture.
Fiona's leaning in the door frame. Enchanting, isn't it?
It is. I really listen, I don't have, and he turns around and then he sees his Fiona, he's like, It's been a minute.
Certainly has. Look, you're welcome to admire the artwork, but I don't really take kindly to you knocking out my security guards.
Get better security.
What's you doing here, Arkham?
Oh, you know, trade never ends. Admiring the art.
So you decided to come into my pub here in this stretch of scenic Montreal, knock out my security guard, and stand here at night at closing time, just staring at my original wild. Is that... You could have asked if you wanted an invitation or something.
I really hung up on that. Was that bodyguard somebody personal? It's fine. Don't cut the shit, Fiona. I need that painting.
Hilarious. You're not going to have it.
Come on. We can do this the traditional way or some other way that I don't want to do.
Arkham, look, I don't have any beef with you. Quite frankly, I think you're... Well, considering your line of work, I don't think you're a total asshole. So, how about we just call it a wash? I'll forget you ever knocked out one of mine, and I won't have to knock out all of yours. Teeth, I mean.
Come on. Okay. Knowing that you probably could, one of the only people who probably could, I wouldn't make such an affair of this if I didn't have a good reason I'm willing to pay you if it comes to that.
And what's your reason?
It's personal.
And that painting there, that's personal to me. Very special drawing. I've had it for a very, very long time. And I walk up.
What? Cool.
I walk up to Arkham. I give him a good. Doing a bit of gardening for you. I turn and glance at the drawing. You just see Fiona like reach out a hand, hover it there, and draw it back and look at you. I didn't take you for a gardener.
You also don't think I'm an asshole either. I guess there's a lot of things you don't know. Take the money, Fiona, and I will be about my way.
I'm not taking your fucking money. That drawing's mine. You know I can't be bought.
This is a kind gesture. I'd like to do soaring leap towards the painting.
You clear tables. Jump towards the painting. Grab it with both hands. And as you do, you realize you can't touch it. The painting is there. It's clearly there, but it feels like it's not there. You try each and every which way to wrap your hands around it, try to grab it. It's there. It's right in front of you. But when you try to touch it, to grab it, you can't hold on to it. You can't grab it. It's as if it's frozen there in time almost.
Thoroughly embarrassed, comes down from this point and goes, "What did you do to it?"
If I told you that, that'd be giving away all my good secrets now, wouldn't it?
Give me the painting, Fiona, please.
No, Arkham, I'm not going to give you this fucking painting. In fact, in exchange for me not giving this to you, I'm going to give you a little something, and I'm not going to fucking kill you, tie you up, and leave you outside for sunrise. So get the fuck out of my bar, if you know what's good for you.
I'm trying my best to enact certain changes into my life, and you're making it really fucking hard right now, Fiona. Give me the goddamn painting.
It sounds like you just aren't gonna get what you want. What was that song? Right. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. And she pulls out, like, tucks her hands out of her pockets and just, like, lets them go slack at her sides.
Change. Okay.
I would like to point out, Arkham, that you feel different than you would normally feel in this particular situation. You realize that you're anticipating feeling anger, that flash of anger, that kind of, oh, fuck it, I don't care anymore kind of feeling. But instead, once you get past that knee-jerk reaction to feel that way, you realize that it's not there. There is a certainty in you, a confidence that if you wanted to summon the beast, to let it loose, you could. But there's also a certainty and a confidence that you don't have to. That you can make that choice, that you can decide to write it or not. For the first time in a very, very long time, you realize you're in complete control.
I think Arkham sits down in like a nearby chair or something, and he goes, "Can I start over?"
Always.
Fine. My mentor asked for this. They've been helping me work through some things. And in a test to ensure that it's working, they asked me to come here and get this by whatever means, but not to kill anyone, which is why your bouncer is still alive.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. It would be a personal favor.
You're asking a favor.
I am.
Arkham, I said it before and I meant it. I don't think you're an arsehole. I just think, well, your mentor putting it to the test to come into my bar and steal my drawing. Well, it's a bit of a dick move. Just a test like that.
I don't think the drawing was the test, but it's a show of faith.
Why my bar? Why my art?
I don't know. There is something about it, though. I can feel it. I can smell it. To me, nothing.
Do you know that's an original?
I can tell.
I figured you could. Do you know that I've had it for almost 100 years now?
Imagine so.
That's right. I prize that more than I prize my own mother's wedding ring or my grandmother's silver spoons. It's a very special piece.
So if it's that special to you, why would Anika want it from you? What gripe does she have against you?
What do I know about Anika? Storyteller.
You know that she's the Toreador Primogen of the city, one of the few remaining elders or near elders, and that she's obviously part of the same clan as the prince, and as Primogen is one of the more influential and powerful kindred in the city.
So, Anika's your mentor, is that what it is?
Yeah.
What a fucking cunt. It's not about the painting.
I'm inclined to agree.
It's not about the painting. It's not about this task they set you. It's truly about the fact that you're some sort of gopher for them. And given the fact that you smell like gardening, something fishy afoot there.
Yeah. It's Montreal. It's fishy all the time.
Right, surrounded by water, port city. You're a bucket of laughs. Storyteller, would I be able to tell that Arkham has switched over?
No, there's absolutely no way to tell that. None whatsoever.
I'm not going to give you the painting, Arkham. But if you want to tell your mentor that I'd be happy to set up a little meeting, I'm sure she'd be delighted to chat with me as well.
Yeah. Something tells me that was the aim. You old kindred forget that cell phones are a fucking thing.
I don't forget. She's just, like I said, a dumb cunt.
Again, I'm inclined to agree. Last time, you sure?
Sure as shit, love.
Well, I'm gonna take the front door if that's okay.
Yeah, just be sure not to knock anybody out on the way out.
Get better bouncers, like I said.
If you know anybody looking for a job, you know who to contact.
Does Bruno still work for you?
Keep his name out of your mouth.
You have a good night, Fiona.
Good night, Arkham. Don't be a stranger now.
And as Arkham makes his way down the stairs and out towards the front door, Fiona, you're left alone in a room with this strange little sketch of Oscar Wilde. In some ways, you're not immune to the symbolism either, as you have felt yourself change recently. The more you learn from your sire, that special discipline that comes with the blood, the more you find that things that used to make you extremely emotional tend to lose some of their impetus, some of their intensity. Not that you don't feel them, just that they seem to needle you a bit less than before. You're pretty certain you would have clocked him in the mouth at some point before, but there was a calmness in you tonight as you faced him down that makes you wonder what's happening to that portrait of you that's hanging somewhere in a castle. Is it turning strange and ugly also, or who knows? And on that note, my friends, we will end tonight's